Hello fans! Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we dive into an explosive return that is sure to rock Port Charles. Britt Westbourne is alive and coming home. Fans were heartbroken when Britt, portrayed by the talented Kelly Thibault, seemingly met a tragic end at the hands of the Hook Killer. However, as longtime viewers of GH know, death is rarely permanent, and miracles happen in mysterious ways. It's now confirmed Britt's death was staged, a clever deception orchestrated with the help of her mother, the cunning Dr. Liesl Obrecht. Liesl, never one to play by the rules, clearly worked her medical magic behind the scenes, managing to save Britt and help her slip away unnoticed. Having survived this brush with death, Britt returns to Port Charles a changed woman. Her near-death experience profoundly transformed her outlook on life. Previously known for her complicated personality, sharp tongue, and complex past, Britt's brush with mortality forced her to reassess her values, priorities, and the relationships she once took for granted. She has discovered the genuine importance of honesty, family, and facing one's truth no matter how painful or shocking that truth may be. Yet, Britt's homecoming isn't simply about reuniting with friends or rekindling lost loves. She carries with her a life-altering secret, buried deep within her for years. This secret has haunted her, and now, finally ready to confront it, Britt steps bravely back into Port Charles with clarity and purpose. Her unexpected return immediately shocks the entire town, especially Jason Morgan, who once loved Britt deeply and mourned her loss profoundly. Jason had moved forward, believing he'd lost Britt forever. Seeing her alive is both a shock and a bittersweet relief, stirring complicated emotions. But Britt's return isn't about Jason or romantic nostalgia. Her agenda is driven by something far more personal: her beloved son, Rocco. In a revelation that will undoubtedly send shockwaves through the lives of Lulu Spencer and Dante Falconeri, Britt decides to finally reveal the truth she's hidden for years. She was the one who carried and gave birth to Rocco. Despite Rocco being biologically related to Lulu and Dante, Britt was the surrogate who brought him into this world, and she's lived in silence, keeping this connection private. Though there's no biological link between Britt and Rocco, her emotional bond has always felt just as profound and genuine as any mother and child connection. Throughout her absence, Britt has never stopped thinking about Rocco. Her brush with death reaffirmed what she's always known deep in her heart: Rocco feels like her son, the child she nurtured and carried, and whom she has quietly watched grow up from afar. Upon her return, Britt arranges a private meeting with Rocco, confessing this long-held secret directly to him. The revelation stuns Rocco, shaking his world. Britt tells Rocco that she intends to move to England to build a new life and, driven by genuine maternal affection, she asks Rocco if he would consider leaving Port Charles and joining her abroad. This proposal ignites immediate and intense conflict. Lulu and Dante are blindsided and outraged, feeling betrayed by Britt's bold attempt to uproot their family. To them, Britt's return and her sudden desire to claim a maternal role in Rocco's life is unacceptable and threatening. The couple vows to do whatever it takes to prevent Britt's plan from becoming a reality. Their anger and protective instincts kick into high gear, readying themselves to face any legal or emotional battle necessary to safeguard their son. Lulu, especially, feels devastated by Britt's intrusion. For years, she believed Britt's involvement had ended when Rocco was born. Lulu and Dante had worked tirelessly to build their family, overcome many hurdles, and establish a stable home filled with love and security. Britt's sudden reappearance challenges all of that, shaking Lulu's sense of safety and family identity to its core. Dante, equally protective, is determined to confront Britt head-on, demanding answers. He sees Britt's actions as manipulative and selfish, a threat to his family's well-being. Dante will stop at nothing to shield his son from upheaval, rallying support from family, friends, and the law to ensure Britt cannot legally take Rocco away. However, Britt is determined. Her intentions, though disruptive, come from a place of sincerity, driven by deep emotional bonds and her newfound perspective on life's importance. She is not the same woman who left Port Charles. She genuinely believes that having Rocco by her side will allow her, and perhaps even him, to thrive, away from the complex history and emotional baggage of Port Charles. The battle lines are clearly drawn. Britt's return sets the stage for a powerful conflict centered around parental love, identity, and the meaning of family. Friends and family in Port Charles quickly take sides, creating deep divisions among long-standing relationships. Elizabeth Weber, who has her own complicated history with Britt, finds herself empathizing with Britt's maternal instincts, even while recognizing Lulu's distress. Carly Corinthos and Sonny Corinthos, however, side strongly with Lulu and Dante, seeing Britt's actions as destructive. Jason, caught in the middle, struggles profoundly. His feelings for Britt remain powerful and complicated. While he sympathizes deeply with Lulu and Dante, he cannot help but feel emotionally drawn to Britt's sincerity and vulnerability. Jason's dilemma intensifies, forcing him to re-examine his loyalty and morality, leaving viewers anxiously wondering whose side he'll ultimately choose. In the midst of the brewing conflict, Britt's mother, Liesl Obrecht, enters the fray. True to form, Liesl fiercely defends her daughter's rights and choices, making enemies in the process. Her involvement quickly turns ugly, reigniting old rivalries, particularly with Anna Devane and Valentin Casadini, who consider Liesl's actions meddlesome and damaging. Liesl's unwavering support for Britt adds fuel to the fire, making the stakes even higher. As tensions rise, Rocco himself must make an impossible decision. The young boy, mature beyond his years, faces heartbreaking pressure. Loyal to the parents who raised and loved him, yet curious and conflicted about Britt's revelation, he struggles profoundly. Torn between the family he knows and the woman who claims a deeper bond, Rocco's choice will shape the course of everyone's lives moving forward. The intense emotional battle leads to dramatic confrontations, public clashes, and heartbreaking revelations. Lulu and Dante wage a fierce campaign to protect their parental rights, while Britt publicly defends her right to forge a relationship with the child she once carried. The town divides, friendships fracture, and alliances shift. As the drama unfolds, audiences will witness gripping courtroom scenes, emotional custody battles, and powerful dialogues exploring love, family, and sacrifice. Britt's quest to redefine herself, built on honesty and genuine love for Rocco, collides directly with Lulu and Dante's determination to preserve the family unit they've lovingly built. Ultimately, this storyline promises viewers not only explosive drama but also deep emotional resonance. As characters grapple with fundamental questions about parenthood, belonging, and what defines family, fans are treated to riveting performances, complex character developments, and unforgettable television moments. Kelly Thibault's return as Britt has unleashed powerful storytelling opportunities. Her journey back from death to confront her most profound truths promises emotional highs, shocking revelations, and riveting consequences that viewers won't soon forget. Will Britt succeed in claiming a place in Rocco's life, or will Lulu and Dante's determination prove insurmountable? Can Port Charles ever be the same after such a seismic shakeup? Will Jason's conflicted heart influence the outcome? Next, we will dive deep into the smoldering drama engulfing Port Charles as the aftermath of the devastating fire at Charlie's pub threatens to incinerate the already fragile ties between Christina Corinthos Davis and her father, Sonny Corinthos. This blaze, both literal and metaphorical, has ignited a storm of emotions, secrets, and shifting alliances that could alter the Corinthos family dynamic forever. At the heart of this tempest is Marco Rios, a young man whose courageous actions during the inferno may prove to be the catalyst for Christina's long-buried doubts about her father's ruthless nature to finally surface with undeniable clarity. The fiery disaster at Charlie's pub, a beloved local haunt turned into a battleground of ash and tragedy, has left the residents of Port Charles reeling with shock and suspicion. Whispers of arson swirl through the town, with fingers pointing toward the enigmatic and dangerous Jen Sidwell, a man whose shadowy dealings have long cast a pall over the community. Though evidence remains elusive, many believe Sidwell orchestrated the blaze as a vicious strike against his enemies, perhaps even Sonny himself. Amidst the chaos of that fateful night, Marco Rios emerged as an unexpected hero, risking life and limb to pull Christina from the jaws of the raging inferno. His bravery, however, came at an unimaginable personal cost: the loss of his mother, Natalia Ramirez, who succumbed to a heartbreaking overdose in the wake of the tragedy. Rumors suggest that Natalia's death may not have been accidental, with some speculating that relentless pressure and cruel taunts from Sonny drove her to a state of despair so profound that she sought escape in the most permanent way. This devastating turn of events paints a grim picture of Sunny's influence, and as Christina processes Marco's sacrifice alongside her father's apparent indifference, the seeds of doubt are sown deep within her heart. Sunny, meanwhile, is a man consumed by vengeance, his sights set squarely on Sidwell as the architect of the fire that nearly claimed his daughter's life. His rage, fueled not only by the pub inferno but also by a prior attack of firebombing at his penthouse that left his empire shaken, blinds him to the collateral damage of his warpath. To Sunny, the world is a chessboard, and every loss, even Natalia's, is merely a pawn sacrificed in a larger game of power. But for Christina, Marco's grief is not a mere footnote. It is a raw, human tragedy that demands empathy, qualities she fears her father lacks. Picture the tension in the air as Christina, still bearing the emotional scars of her near-death experience, watches Sunny dismiss Natalia's passing with a cold shrug, his mind already racing to the next strategic move against Sidwell. This callousness could be the breaking point for Christina, stirring a storm of unease as she begins to see her father not as the protective patriarch she once idolized, but as a man whose moral compass has long been shattered by the weight of his mobster life. Will she confront him in a heated exchange, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and disillusionment, demanding to know how he can so easily disregard a life lost? And if she does, will Sunny's steely resolve crack under the weight of his daughter's piercing gaze, or will he double down, further driving a wedge between them? Marco's daring rescue of Christina was more than just an act of valor. It was a moment that forged an unspoken bond between two souls caught in the crossfire of their father's deadly games. As the flames licked at the walls of Charlie's pub, Marco didn't hesitate, diving into the inferno to shield Christina from certain doom. His strength and determination a stark contrast to the chaos around them. This act of selflessness has left Christina grappling with a profound sense of gratitude, her heart heavy with the knowledge that Marco paid the ultimate price for her safety. Now, as she navigates her conflicted feelings, she finds herself haunted by memories of Natalia, a woman with whom she had recently begun to rebuild a fragile connection. Their late-night conversations at the pub, filled with tentative laughter and shared dreams, now feel like a cruel prelude to an untimely end. Christina's empathy for Marco deepens as she sees his pain mirrored in her own. What must it be like to lose a mother under such harrowing circumstances? This shared sense of loss stands in stark contrast to Sunny's single-minded obsession with retribution, a focus that blinds him to the human toll of his actions. Christina may find herself questioning whether her father's heart has grown too hard to feel the weight of others' suffering, a realization that could shake the very foundation of their relationship. Adding another layer of complexity to Christina's inner turmoil are her lingering emotions for Alison Blaze Rogers, whose fiery spirit once ignited a passion within her that she struggles to extinguish. Though their romance has flickered in the past, the warmth of those memories now fuels Christina's desire to protect those she cares about, including Marco, whose vulnerability in the wake of his mother's death resonates with her deeply. Moreover, past moments of doubt about Sunisic as his brutal altercations with Dex Heller during a tumultuous summer filled with betrayal and bloodshed begin to resurface like ghosts from a forgotten past. Back then, Christina brushed aside her unease, convinced that her father's actions, however harsh, were rooted in a twisted form of love. But now, with Marco's sacrifice as a glaring reminder of what true compassion looks like, those doubts take on a sharper edge. If her mother, Alexis Davis, steps in to offer quiet support, affirming Christina's growing suspicions about Sunny's darker side with a knowing look or a gentle word, it could be the push she needs to finally stand her ground. Imagine Alexis, ever the voice of reason, sitting with Christina in a dimly lit room, the weight of unspoken truths hanging between them as she urges her daughter to trust her instincts. Will this maternal guidance embolden Christina to challenge Sunny? Or will the pull of family loyalty woven so tightly into the fabric of her identity keep her tethered to him despite the cracks in his facade? As the rift between Christina and Sunny widens, the entire Corinthos family finds itself at a crossroads. Each member torn between allegiance to the patriarch and a growing understanding of Christina's perspective. Picture the family gatherings, once filled with boisterous laughter and unwavering unity, now steeped in an uneasy silence as sit-along glances and whispered arguments reveal the strain beneath the surface. Some, like Michael Corinthos, might grapple with their own complicated history with Sunny, quietly sympathizing with Christina while fearing the consequences of openly siding with her. Others, perhaps Carly Spencer, could attempt to play peacemaker, desperately trying to stitch together the fraying threads of their family before they unravel completely. Yet, Christina's evolving perception of her father is not just a personal reckoning, it's a seismic shift that could redefine the power dynamics within Port Charles itself. If she aligns herself more closely with Marco, a young man equally wounded by the sins of his own father, it could create an unexpected alliance that complicates Sunny's brewing war with Sidwell in ways he never anticipated. What if Sidwell's involvement in the Charlie's pub fire is confirmed through a shocking piece of evidence, perhaps a hidden recording or a damning witness testimony, forcing Marco to confront his own family's darkness? This parallel struggle might draw him and Christina even closer, their shared pain forging a bond that neither Sunny nor Sidwell can easily break. The question that looms largest over this unfolding saga is whether Marco's selfless act will be the torch that finally burns away the blinders Christina has worn for so long. Regarding her father's true nature, will her gratitude toward Marco and her horror at Sunny's apparent lack of compassion create a permanent fracture in their father-daughter bond? Or will Sunny's magnetic charisma and promises of protection draw her back into his orbit, as they so often have before? Imagine a poignant scene in the aftermath of yet another violent clash, where Sunny, bloodied but embowed, reaches out to Christina with a rare moment of vulnerability, his voice cracking as he swears to keep her safe no matter the cost. Will this glimpse of the man beneath the mobster be enough to mend their broken trust, or will Christina turn away, her resolve hardened by the memory of Marco's sacrifice and Natalia's tragic end? Next, we will explore the simmering frustration among fans of Port Charles' most dramatic saga and uncover a powder keg of secrets, betrayals, and potential reconciliations that could light up the town like never before. The impatience of the audience is palpable, with many craving a seismic event to shake up the stagnant storylines, and whispers from the fanbase suggest explosive ideas are brewing. At the center of this storm are Willow Tate and Michael Corinthos, whose heartbreaking misunderstanding has left hearts aching for resolution. Add in deceptive schemes, hidden truths, and the ever-heroic Jason Morgan, and we've got a recipe for drama that could redefine relationships in Port Charles for good. The fans of General Hospital are on the edge of their seats, their frustration boiling over as storylines seem to drag without the jaw-dropping twists they've come to expect from the show. Social media is abuzz with complaints and creative suggestions, with some viewers, like a passionate fan named June, proposing radical plot twists that could detonate the status quo in Port Charles. June's audacious idea, a metaphorical explosion, perhaps a scandal so massive it tears through every family, exposing long-buried secrets and forcing characters to confront their pasts in a fiery reckoning. Imagine a town-wide event, like the annual Port Charles Founders Day celebration, turning into a battleground of revelations where no one escapes unscathed. This fan-driven hunger for chaos reflects a deeper desire for emotional payoffs, especially in the tortured romance between Willow and Michael, whose recent separation has left viewers desperate for a reunion. As the clamor for action grows louder, it feels like the writers might just be taking notes from these fervent suggestions, setting the stage for a storyline that could ignite passions and shatter expectations. At the heart of the current fan discontent is the gut-wrenching fallout between Willow and Michael, a couple whose love story has been put through the ringer. Willow's recent journey to Germany, fueled by a desperate hope to mend their fractured bond, ended in crushing disappointment. After boarding a plane with a heart full of longing, she arrived only to be told by a nurse that Michael refused to see her, a devastating blow that left her shattered. Without lingering to question the situation or fight for a chance to speak with him directly, Willow turned around and flew back to Port Charles, her spirit broken. Picture her on that long flight home, staring out the window at the endless clouds, tears streaming down her face as she whispered to herself, "It's over. There's no going back now." Her resignation to this apparent rejection was swift and final, a decision that seemed to close the door on any possibility of reconciliation. Back in Port Charles, she confided in Drew Kane, whose supportive nods and sympathetic words only reinforced her belief that Michael had truly turned his back on her. But what Willow doesn't know, and what fans are itching to see revealed, is the sinister undercurrent behind this misunderstanding, a deception that could change everything if brought to light. Unbeknownst to Willow, a dark conspiracy orchestrated by Drew himself lies at the root of her pain, adding a layer of betrayal that has fans seething with anticipation for the truth to surface. Drew, with calculated coldness, paid off the German nurse to feed Willow a cruel lie that Michael wanted nothing to do with her. Not stopping there, he also ensured the nurse told Michael that Willow never even bothered to visit or inquire about him, planting seeds of doubt and hurt on both sides. Imagine Drew in a dimly lit hospital corridor, slipping an envelope of cash into the nurse's hand with a steely glare. His voice low as he instructs her to make sure they never cross paths. This duplicitous act has created a chasm between the couple, one built on falsehoods rather than any real rift. Fans are clamoring for Willow and Michael to uncover this treachery, perhaps starting with a simple, honest conversation. What if Willow, spurred by a lingering flicker of doubt, musters the courage to confront Michael directly at a chance meeting in Kelly's diner, asking why he shut her out? And what if Michael, confusion etched on his face, insists he was never told of her visit, his voice breaking as he admits how much he missed her? Even these two, often caught in the whirlwind of their own emotions, should be able to sense that something doesn't add up, setting the stage for a deeper investigation into who might have engineered their separation. Enter Jason Morgan, Port Charles' perennial knight in shining armor, whose knack for unearthing buried truths could be the key to blowing this scandal wide open. Fans are buzzing with speculation that Jason will swoop in as the ultimate hero, using his street-savvy instincts to track down the nurse who delivered Drew's lies. Perhaps he'll follow a trail of clues across international borders, confronting shady contacts in dimly lit back alleys to locate her. His determination fueled by a fierce loyalty to Michael and a growing suspicion of Drew's motives. Once he finds her, picture Jason employing his signature blend of intimidation and charm, a quiet threat delivered over a cup of coffee in a remote dinner to persuade her to return to Port Charles and confess everything. The timing of this revelation could be nothing short of cinematic. Imagine the nurse stepping forward at the most dramatic possible moment, perhaps during a lavish wedding ceremony for Willow and Drew, orchestrated as part of Drew's plan to secure her trust for good. As the officiant's voice rings out with the classic line, "Does anyone here have any just cause why these two should not be joined in holy matrimony?" the church doors swing open, and there stands the nurse, pale and trembling, with Jason at her side. Her confession, "Heck, yeah, I've got something to say," could echo through the stunned crowd, exposing Drew's manipulations in front of everyone who matters most. The fallout from such a public unmasking would be catastrophic, shattering alliances and reigniting the flame between Willow and Michael in a heartbeat. The implications of this potential bombshell extend far beyond just Willow and Michael's relationship, rippling through the tight-knit fabric of Port Charles and threatening to upend power dynamics in unexpected ways. Drew's deception, once revealed, could paint him as a villain in the eyes of many, eroding the trust he's painstakingly built with other key players in town. Picture Carly Spencer, her eyes flashing with betrayal, confronting Drew in a heated exchange outside the Quartermain mansion, demanding to know how he could stoop so low. Meanwhile, Willow's renewed connection with Michael might not be an easy road. Trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild, even if the initial fracture was based on lies. Their reconciliation could be a slow burn, marked by late-night conversations on the docks, where they pour out their regrets under the moonlight, each word a step toward healing. And what of Jason's role in this saga? His heroics might further cement his status as Port Charles' moral compass, but they could also draw unwanted attention from Drew. He might seek retribution against the man who dismantled his carefully laid plans. Perhaps Drew begins to plot against Jason, hiring shadowy figures to dig up dirt on him, setting the stage for a new conflict that keeps viewers glued to their screens. As the layers of this deception peel back, the fans' call for action feels more urgent than ever, their anticipation for a grand resolution growing with each passing episode. The idea floated by Jonathan of a figurative explosion in Port Charles might just come to pass in the form of emotional upheavals and shattered illusions. Imagine a town hall meeting, originally meant to discuss community rebuilding after a recent crisis, turning into a public forum for grievances as Willow and Michael's story spills out, dragging Drew's name through the mud and forcing other characters to pick sides. The tension could crackle like lightning, with accusations flying and long-held secrets slipping out in the heat of the moment. Will Willow and Michael emerge stronger from this trial, their love forged anew in the crucible of truth, or will the scars of misunderstanding linger, casting a shadow over their future. And how will Drew navigate the fallout, his reputation in tatters, as he grapples with the consequences of a scheme gone horribly wrong? In the end, the drama surrounding Willow, Michael, Drew, and Jason is a microcosm of what makes General Hospital so addictive, a tangled web of love, lies, and loyalty that keeps us coming back for more. The fans' impatience for a game-changing twist may soon be rewarded, as the pieces seem poised to fall into place for a revelation that could rock Port Charles to its core. Will the truth about Drew's machinations unite Willow and Michael in a triumphant reunion, or will the damage prove too deep to repair? And what other surprises await as Jason's investigation peels back even more layers of deception in this town where no secret stays buried for long? Stay tuned to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel for all the latest updates on this roller coaster of a storyline, where every episode promises new heartbreak, hope, and high-stakes drama.